Hey guys, how are you? Welcome to Eradicating the Inner War. We are amping up and getting started today. I want to say thank you for being here with me. My name is Joanne Malenga. I am a spiritual life coach, alchemist, energy healing, and we get to the nitty gritty of the roots of trauma and childhood wounding. So let's get going, right? Just drop in the chat where you are coming from and what's happening with you today. What made you sign up for this amazing workshop? We are going to keep going as people trickle in. We had a lot of people come in late that said they were going to sign up and last minute, and some are still working. So 4 o'clock on the East Coast, and welcome to Eradicating the Inner War. We are going to talk all about today the inner war and a little bit about the outer war, right? Because a lot of us now are being shaken up of what's been happening in the world. And there's never been a better time right now to self-reflect, to redirect, to revise our lives, look at life plans, look at our location of where we live, look at the kind of food we're eating and possibly even growing our own food, looking at different aspects of our life, right? And a lot of us, if not now, have been looking up until now, right? So there's a lot, and we know this, guys, and we know this because of all that's happening in politics and the school systems and really everything everywhere. And what I want to say to you is if you feel confused, maybe conflicted inside of you, not knowing what's happening or why you feel the way you do, you're not alone. And if you get anything out of today and these 2 spectacular hours, what I'm going to say to you is you're not alone. No matter where you are right now in this very, very moment, in this space, time, and continuum, right? Today on September 10th, 4:03 p.m., you're not alone. Even if you're sitting in your office in the corner munching on a goodie, right? Or you're at the gas station, you're driving home, maybe as a mental health therapist or doctor, you're still working because you have to, or because you're overloaded with clients, you're spending endless hours trading time for money and money for time. So let's take a minute and just drop in the chat where are you coming from and why you showed up today. And if you haven't already, grab some pen and paper because you're going to want to take notes. There's going to be a lot of really juicy information you're not going to get anywhere else. And those of you who stay to the end are going to get the Eradicating the Inner War journal. So you can continue your work, whether you decide to give me a call and find out um, what energy healing really is, and Reiki and hypnotherapy, and how we can dissolve roots of trauma and maybe just even just bring you back into balance, right? Because a lot of times we're all thinking that, self-love and finding balance is going for a hike in the woods, going to get your nails done. Let me go set up a weekend with the guys playing golf or, playing soccer, playing baseball, going to the spa with my friends. And while all those things are really, really good, we all do them, right? We all find a way to feel freedom, feel balance, feel good. And massages are just amazing to the physical body. But what I would say to you is, what about your spiritual body? What about your emotional body, your mental body? How are you bringing that into balance? All right, guys. Well, thank you for dropping all this amazing stuff in the chat, right? And thanks for being here. We got people from everywhere: Arizona, California, Nebraska, upstate New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. Hello, hello. Right? So as we reflect and as we look at what are we doing to bring harmony and balance into the body? Because Many of you showed up today because you're out of balance, because it was something that magnetized you, something that drew you in, right? And not because of what I do, but my energy drew you in. There's something here moving already. As soon as we start to set up that date, set up the time to come right in, something starts to percolate, something starts to really move within the body. So ask that question for yourself, maybe even jot it down, right? What what is it for you? Where are you out of balance in your life? And when I say out of balance, where are you at war within yourself? Because that's where you're out of balance. So let's rephrase the question, right? Reframe and a rephrase. Where in you are you at war? Is it the part of you that hates your job, right? There's a part of you that's like, I have to go to work. I hate my job. You see the duality? Or there is a part of you, I'm just tired. I'm emotionally spent. I'm tired. I'm exhausted emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically. I'm on my feet all day, right? Or emotionally exhausted from people, overwhelmed, overstimulated, right? What else? All of these components are going to start stacking, right? And I always, when I use the word stacking, even with clients or when we're clearing energy or doing spiritual life coaching, it's like I always tell people, think of a sandwich, right? Think of like, and I don't know if you guys even eat sandwiches anymore, right? Some of us health nuts, but think of a really good sandwich. And for me, what would that look like? It'd be like turkey and cheese and avocado and put some homemade organic mayo on there and my spelt bread or sourdough bread, whatever. It starts to stack. We start to stack the sandwich, right? This is exactly what's happening with the inner war, guys. As we don't address these heartfelt emotions, these deeper emotions, the energy of overwhelm, the energy of overstimulation, especially those of you who work with people, right? Your social workers, your mental health therapists, psychiatrists, in the hospitals, nurses, doctors. I can go on, right? Anybody in healthcare, all the way to the receptionist, quite frankly, because that receptionist all day long is on. She's that actress in her movie. He's that actor in his movie. And it's nonstop, right? So I'm talking at every level here. Or maybe that physician, right, who just took a double because he got triple pay and a bonus, a $5,000 bonus. This is reality, guys. This is not made up stuff with you. I'm your real deal. I don't sugarcoat. Those of you who know me or have done work with me and you showed up tonight, this is the real deal. I don't sugarcoat because that would never help support you in your journey in evolution, right? It would never help support you in that new mindset of well-being, of total balance, of total revitalization. So where are you with this? And we're going to go into a little meditation today, but I want you to really pinpoint three items right now, right? Where's that inner war? And you might get like a lot of thoughts, erratic thoughts coming in, right? But what would that look like for you? The inner war. What does it look like? Tired, overwhelmed, overstimulated. I know for me, for years when I worked in healthcare, it was constant overstimulation. Not every day. It was always coming to a head when I was out of balance. And here's the thing, guys, and this is the real stuff. And some of you know what I'm talking about. Working all week, then maybe you go in on a Saturday, you got to catch up on the weekend because of paperwork, right? Or whatever. And maybe then you're home the rest of the weekend. so spent, emotionally and mentally spent, that you stay by yourself. Maybe you'll talk to a friend here or there, see family members, or get involved with something here or there. But my question to you is, how are you emotionally when you do that? Really look at that. Like, what is happening? Because I know for me, let's come back. Maybe this will trigger some of you in a beautiful way. I was bitter. I was feeling angry, maybe even emotional. Um, and then the other spectrum, lonely, right? Because I wasn't married or didn't have a partner at the time. You're on all the way on the other end of the avenue, all the way on the other end of the road. So my thing to you is, where do you see yourself in that? Where do you see yourself in that trajectory? Just really, really sit there with that. And some of you, even with me right now, are probably multitasking. Oh, I gotta call, so and so. Let me grab the phone. Oh, I gotta get, oh, I just thought of something. Let me make my list while she's talking. I get it. I get it. I totally get it. I used to do these workshops, now facilitate, but I used to attend when I was in the work field. I'd take my lunch and I would be doing a workshop, right? I'd drink or be eating my food or whatever. But most of the time, when I wasn't doing a workshop, I'd be shoveling food in my mouth because everybody needed me at some point. And I was trading time for money. I was literally excuse me, time for money. And I became sick. I became, you know, overwhelmed, panic attacks, anxiety. So let me share a little bit about me, right? We're about 20 minutes in. So I left after 30 years of healthcare. I was a healthcare administrator for senior living facilities. Did I start there? No, I did not start there. Started at the bottom of the drill while I was going to college. Um, started out as a CNA while I was finishing up school for nursing. And right in the middle of nursing, I decided to take a shift and go into business administration because I realized I couldn't really make big impact and change as a nurse. From and that's what I thought at that moment. And that's not true for what I feel today, right? I feel like my nurses were my gold in all of the communities that I worked in. But here's the thing, in moving through the different layers of the jobs that I had, right? Which, of course, the end was leading buildings and then training other executives in healthcare as a leadership individual, and also bringing in programs like meditation, other things for my employees if they got approved from my bosses and my supervisors. So it was always me moving around, navigating the energy, always had families and, you know, um, extended families coming in my office to talk. Most of the time, it wasn't pleasant. Employees, right? At one point, at one property, I was running a campus and I had over 189 employees and families, almost 400. And that's not including extended families and seniors and residents who live there. Imagine the overwhelm on some days. And yeah, sure, my 20s, I was like robotic. I was just doing it, checking in with the nurses. I was running my first property at 25 years old. I'm in my 40s now. I have no shame about that because I feel better than I've ever felt, physically, mentally, spiritually, and the consciousness level that I'm at. And it was like, even then, I knew, I knew something was off energetically, right? And for me at that time, and maybe some of you see yourself here, or maybe saw yourself 20s and 30s, like in this place of your self love and self care and rebalancing yourself was going to the gym, right? Eating healthy, cooking for yourself, that nourishment, whatever you did to balance you, getting a massage once a month or twice a month, whatever you needed to do. But what I want to say to you is that was good for so long. And I'm going to tell you why. There was days that I could remember 6 and 7 meetings, right? Including family meetings, healthcare meetings with the social worker, with the family member, with my nurse, with the other people that were there with me, with the caregiver that was, the CNAs that were there with me in the meeting. And it was the prep, and then it was the after, and it was who was taking notes. And you guys know what I'm talking about. And if you guys are clinical, it's even double of what I'm telling you, right? The additional responsibilities for someone or you. But it was nonstop. And then I realized navigating through at maybe 31, I would say maybe 30, 31 is when it started to happen, right? The anxiety. I was diagnosed with Lyme at the time, severe depression, not depression where I want to take my life. That's not what I'm talking about. A lot of suppression. I was depressed, like at a lull. I still got out of bed, went to the gym, still did things, but I was almost like panicking. That's what I remember frequently. I would be driving to Pennsylvania or taking a flight to Florida to go train a new property we just acquired, and I'm having a panic attack on the way. And it was all the accumulation of emotions. It was all the suppression and pushing down of my emotions, which now that I work with a stacking system, right? And family parts, it's like we know that what is that? Oh, I feel angry. Push it down. Go eat a piece of chocolate. Go do something else. Sidetrack. Not addressing that anger. Now, a couple days later, I feel sad. I feel sad. I feel sadness because my friend moved away, and that was my friend that I had coffee with every weekend, or every Friday after work or whatever, a drink, whatever that was. So now I feel sadness. And instead of actually working with that emotion, letting myself fully feel that emotion and actually let it embody me so it can move through, right? And some of you may say, well, Joanne, who the hell has time to that? Who's stopping in the middle of the day so I can feel my feels? And we're gonna go there because I know some of you are thinking that. Or where do I start? Right? I have so many. But what I'm going to tell you is the anger, the sadness. Another time it was, guilt. So I didn't really want to go see my parents and I went anyway because I felt guilty. Well, shit, I didn't see them in 2 or 3 weeks, and I got to go see them. And meanwhile, I'm burnt out. I really need to just go sit on the grass in the yard, listening to the birds and read my book with a hot cup of tea or a glass of wine or whatever, right? I don't want to see anybody. I need to fill up. This is how I rebalance. And as I continued stacking, you guys follow now, right? And you might want to take notes on this because I want you to see yourself after today. Today's only Tuesday, right? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, going till Friday, where you have been in the next 3 days. And you'll remember, you guys will get this replay. So as I kept stacking, the panic attacks started to happen. And then I got depressed. And then I wasn't sure what I wanted in my life, right? And then one day I'm driving to work and because I pray every day, I've always prayed and have expressed my gratitude for all that I am and everything I have. And I always have since I was a little girl. And I was saying to God one morning on my way to work, and I used to work up north of North Jersey. I said, God, I don't want to be numb anymore. I don't want to smoke anymore, right? I want to stop having wine. And I was 31 at the time. I don't want to be numb. I want to feel my feelings. I'm finished. And it wasn't maybe like a week or two later, I started to feel off, like not feel good. I would be extremely sad. And then I was like, I got to go to the doctor. Something's not right. And you guys know my friends and family out there who working in healthcare, what do? We go to the doctor because that's how we've been trained. What else do you do? I got to go to the doctor. I got to get a new therapist. Maybe I need to talk to somebody every week, blah, 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 right? Because my mother At the time, I didn't feel would even understand me. Nobody would understand me. So I went to doctor, shared, doctor gave me a prescription. Hey, I have something for you. And by the way, don't worry, you're not alone. All women get like this. That'll really make you feel good when you're in the middle of a depression. So I took the Xanax. It was not a big drug, right? It's not a drug that the Xanax gets out of your system for my nurses, right? 24 hours or so. And I was like, okay, this will help me feel a little pep. Maybe it'll help me feel more peppy. Back to myself. That was the whole thing. I knew something was off. I didn't feel myself. That's how I knew something was off. And I started to take it and I started to feel numb. So I would cut it in half and take half because I thought maybe the dosage was too high. But it literally would make me not feel. And I didn't like it. But in that time, found a new therapist by my job. My insurance accepted it, started going to therapy. Fast forward, I started to get hallucinations, right? Like most of the medications. Those of you in healthcare know, psychiatric health, other mental health therapists, you guys know, or even my doctors who are taking meds now, right? You know yourself, every medication has a side effect. Nobody can tell me, right? This is how big pharma makes money. And that's okay if you need it, right? But for me, it's not forever, for life. Take it if you need it, like I was. But it wasn't until one night, guys, I was having really dark thoughts and suicidal ideation. Yes, I did not have a plan, but I that was happening. And I had this premonition, this feeling inside of me just, I'm not doing this. Like, I'm not doing this. I'm not living like this anymore. I am not going to work like this anymore. There's got to be something else. I don't know what else is out there, but I'm not doing this. And took the whole bottle and flushed it down the toilet. And the rest is history. And that's when I started to do my own, right? I started to take my classes and get certified as a practitioner, went back to school for certain modalities, and started to do a lot of the work on myself. It wasn't about, this is what I want to be doing, right? Like I want to heal the world and I want to show people there's a better way and show everybody that energy is everything is energy and energy is everything. And as I started to do the work, fast forward, as a Reiki master and a spiritual life coach, took leadership life coaching, also executive coaching, and all these other modalities. I started to open up as I started to navigate this path, the spiritual path, and I started to see energy. So I would go to work and I would still work on myself, even if I worked late, right? And I did. Some days I worked 10 hours, some days 14 hours. Some of you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes I take a last minute client. Sometimes I tell a family, yeah, you're still working. Oh, you're in the city. All right, we could do a meeting at 7:30 at night. I would bend over backwards. I would be flexible. I would help. I would do whatever it took. But deep down inside was this deep yearning, this deep loneliness, and not feeling good about life, feeling imbalanced spiritually and emotionally. And I'll tell you something, when I started to open up and started to really do my healing, and I'm not going to lie, I also did some hypnotherapy in there to get to regress and go back to the roots of childhood wounding. Some of these emotions that were stacking were from childhood, right? Because we don't just show up in the world and here I am, right? We are made up, we are so multifaceted. It's incredible, all of the energy that we're made of and all of the bodies that we carry, the spiritual body, mental body, emotional. And that was a pivot point in my life. It was a huge shift, guys. But I'll tell you what started to happen. I started to move into holistic health. I started to research herbs. I started to growing herbs, growing garden food, not just juicing, right? Because I feel within me, everybody needs balance. That's a big extreme of just juicing and you're not getting nutrition, right? There's harmony and balance in everything, and including food, including relationships. But even with me, it was like I was so out of balance because I was just trading time for money. I would work so many hours and I was helping make other people happy before myself. Instead of like, no, I need to also do this for me. I need to also bring in some additional energy to support whatever this is. So let's do a check-in. So that's my story. A lot of little things in between, right? A lot of relationships that went sour because I was unhealthy. So I attracted unhealthy partners, right? That's what happens. And if you're married, chances are things start to happen in your marriage because you're out of balance and you're snippy and you're moody. And instead of communicating properly, you're off the deep end and you're sharing things you don't really need to be sharing. So do a quick check in. Let's close our eyes. And you can put your hands on your heart if you want. I like to do that because it gets me out of my head. Just take a breath in and exhale. Take another breath in and exhale. Take another breath in, inhale from the belly, and exhale out. Just stay present with yourself and where you're sitting. If you're driving, please don't close your eyes. And just become present with what's coming up for you as we've been, or as I have been sharing with you for the last half hour. What's coming up for you? Are there any emotions coming up? Any memories of things that maybe happened at the hospital, happened with a client, happened at home, happened in childhood, anything coming up for you. And if anything is coming up, what is the emotion coming up in that energy, right? What emotions are percolating? What emotions are moving around? Steaming. I call it like steaming up, like you're boiling water. And are you finding yourself in an inner war? And I want you to keep your eyes closed because I'm going to share something with you. And I've been hearing this a lot as I've been talking to people and doing these amazing workshops that are so poignant at a time like now, right? And it's like so much is happening on so many levels that people are finding themselves confused, or I got to go work out, or I got to get this energy out of me, or they're in a depressive state. But keeping your eyes closed, I want you to just visualize with me right now. It's 2024, right? And we're almost done with the year. We have had the hardest times of our lives in the last 3 years, no matter where you are in your life. Doesn't matter. Even if you're making hundreds of thousands of dollars, you had a baby, bought a new house. I don't care where you are. You have experienced trauma at some point in the last 3 years. And now here we are, the present time, right? We've got an election coming up. And it doesn't matter whose side you're on, we've got an election coming up. We've got food prices that have gone up 40%, 45% from 2020, literally 40 to 45%. Gas prices have gone up. Inflation is through the roof, as you all know. Many people are finding houses or condos, townhouses, let's say living. living arrangements, unaffordable, can't afford it. We have children that are being bullied. The educational system has been very erratic, very unstable for decades now, but all the truth is coming up about educational systems. We've got a lot of, um, I call it sidetracking about what's really happening in school systems, right? A lot of transgender awareness, a lot of people coming out and very expressive, right? Where it wasn't like that maybe a decade ago or 3 years ago, let's say, or 2 years ago. We have a lot of word of mouth about what COVID was and what it wasn't and how it affected us as families. And regardless, right? No, again, no matter where you are in your life now, you were affected on more levels than one. I can promise you that. Maybe some of you in the last 3 years have opened spiritually. Maybe you can hear God more clearly. Maybe you've got into a depression. Maybe some of you have rethought how you want to be living because you can't quite address this imbalance within you, right? And then we have, and again, I'm just creating awareness. Keep your eyes closed. I want you to just stay with me energetically. And if sometimes when we're opening our eyes, we lose the sensations in the body, right? So all this has happened and is happening. Plus, we have the Ukraine, the war in Ukraine, Israel, all this battle. Most of our products are made in other countries. We don't even make some of, this really good stuff in the USA, although we're starting. So we've got all this war going on outside of us, all this outer war. And I know you guys will get this and appreciate this. All we're hearing about is the story about the war outside of us. And it's real, right? Inflation is real. Not being able to afford a new car is real. Can't afford your grocery bill. Divorced mothers and fathers barely can afford things for the kids. The schools, politics, presidency, the wars in Israel and Ukraine, X, Y, and Z, all the imbalance in the earth, overpriced food. So we have this huge outer war happening, don't you think? And just answer the question within you. My thing to you is, although this outer war is outside of us, this outer war is percolating. And a lot of people are saying, "Oh, it's going to get better. It's going to get better. Housing market's going to go down. The bubble's got to bust. It always has. Leave your money where it is, or we lost money in stocks before. Go buy gold. Go buy silver. Don't do anything. Just take the cash out of the bank. Whatever. Have food storage for 30 days. Maybe we should go back to farming. Yada yada yada. Right? But this outer war we're seeing is really the inner war in each one of us. The inner war that has hit or is about to hit an explosion. Because each and every one of us have been living like this either for decades or a decade, or maybe you just realized you are right now. But I promise you, you all have an inner war going on right now. Because if I do, and I have my journey since almost 2 decades ago, then you have it. Because we're not separate, right? And we're all living on this planet. Do you ever stop to think, guys, and you could start opening your eyes and coming back? Do you ever start to think for a second, like we were born on this planet? Why isn't it free? And I'm not saying everything, but think about it. And I've had many awakenings as I've navigated my journey with healing and shamanic breath work and doing a lot of the deeper shadow work inside myself to bring up and clear and dissolve a lot of these emotions so it can be clearer, freer, and feel rejuvenated, feel alive again, feel like I'm living, thriving instead of surviving. But it's not until we can look at ourselves and stop and pause, because only in the pause can we create a pivot. And look at yourselves. I mean, I would bet all of you are the best of your field, are the best in what you do. But it's not until we start to take a deeper dive into who we are, into how we sacrifice time for money. Some of you are not even seeing your children. Some of you are sacrificing, right, working additional hours, not because you need the money, but because you don't want to go home and to an empty place or be alone. But the medicine is really going home to be by yourself so they can unlayer, unwind, and fill up. Problem is, nobody teaches us to address this inner battle, the inner war of hatred. I love people, but I hate people. Stay with me, guys, because this is really good, right? You got the law of duality. And the law of duality says, I'm separate from you, right? I'm separate from you. Even though I love people, I love helping people. It's an outer reflection of that you really need to be helped, but you get satisfaction helping others. You do no service to people if you are on, I don't know, your 10, 11, 12th hour of work. You're an overload. You're emotionally distressed today. You skipped your workout. You didn't have your coffee. Now all of a sudden you're leaving your unit, or if you're a therapist, going to pick up your kids, or telling a client, listen, I don't work after 5, or maybe I'll work till 8 tonight. Look and see where you are in that energy, where you are not really doing the contemplation that you need. And maybe you say, listen, Joanne, I meditate. I meditate already every day for about 10 minutes. I grab my coffee and then I'm out the door. Okay. How is that working for you? Or, hey, Joanne, I work out every day. I feel great. I eat well. Then why are you here? Why'd you show up today? Because something drew you here. So I'm going to take you guys through a process, very short process today, and then we're going to open it up for questions. But a lot of what we're seeing outside, guys, of us as humanity unfolds is a system that's not working for us anymore. And we could open up that discussion. We can open up that platform to have a discussion of what is going on in the world, what is working, what's not working. We could do a community Zoom and have a conversation. And that's for another time, right? But for right now, and grab your pen because you might want to write this question down for yourself to look at later. Right now, where am I at? On a scale of 1 to 5, am I in balance? Am I in harmony and balance? Right? What does balance look like for me? Right? What does balance look like for me? Maybe, and write that down. Like, what does it look like for you? Working out, having my coffee, seeing my friends once a week, right? Taking a spiritual course or a class, getting out of therapy, getting a coach, or changing therapist and getting another therapist. What does that look like for you? And I think the biggest question we need to ask ourselves is, am I comfortable being with myself? Or am I judging myself when I am with myself? Because you are where you are. You are that version of you right now from everything you've learned up until now. You're not stuck. You're not there forever. You're not going to not make your dreams happen because you didn't go back to school and you did this and you really want to be a veterinarian and work with animals, but you're tired of being a dentist. Doesn't matter what your story is, right? You are where you are because of all of your teachings and learnings you've had up until now. So I always tell people, like, listen, if you want something else, you have to become that person that would be ready for that life. You can't have that life the way you are right now. So what would have to change? What would have to change? Let's look at that. What would have to change? What would have to change for you to be that version of you that is in harmony and balance? That does take time for themselves, that does some meditation, that does some journaling when they're emoting, right? When they're emoting their feelings, when they're emoting after a work function and they're driving home angry or driving home exhausted because all they did was listen to everybody talk or gossip about the next workplace X, Y, and Z, right? Or complain about patients or complain about clients. If you're complaining about clients or complaining about patients, you are imbalanced and you need to work with judgment. And the thing is this, guys, you need to do a check-in with yourself daily, even if it's midday. Where am I 1 to 5 right now emotionally? I'm at 0. I need to go grab a cup of tea. Hey, can you watch my station? Or hey, let me text this client. I'm going to be 10 minutes late. Yes, I'm saying to do that. Because the thing is, when we don't and we honor another over you, yourself, your own well being, now you're saying that's more important than me. And you're betraying yourself. It's called self betrayal. So now you've just stacked on that on your big sandwich. Does that make sense? You follow? So there's a lot of really good stuff that we unpacked about the inner war and why this inner war is so at the forefront right now in 2024 because we've got a gateway open. We've got a gateway open to make impact. You have a gateway open to shift your life, to start to live a more spiritually balanced life. Nobody cares out there what you're going through. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's knocking on your door to bring you a goodie package unless you have a really friggin' amazing neighbor or a best friend. Nobody's coming, guys. And I know a lot of you know that because I was that girl too for years. And I love what I did. I loved leading. I loved my nurses and I loved all the staff, the families and residents and everything. I loved what I did. It was powerful. My experiences were very powerful. And I learned a lot, even through the down times, right? Of maybe having a crisis with family members or residents who live there in the community. Whatever it was impactful. But I also realized that we or I couldn't be at my highest level, right, of function as a feminine, as a leader, no matter what role I had, if I didn't do deep spiritual self-care. And I'm going to tell you through the years, and maybe some of you are starting to open up in your sensitivity. And this is what I wanted to say before, even, right? And it just kind of left. In the last 3 years, a lot of us have awakened. We have become more awakened in the workplace, or maybe we're taking clients from home, we've gone on our own. We're still more sensitive. Some of us don't even leave the house. I had a client the other day have some questions about certain things. And she works from home. She hasn't left the house in 6 months. Food shopping once a month. That's it. I don't know, guys. You tell me, is that normal? And I don't even know what normal is anymore because we're all so unique as beautiful spirits, like working on this planet to survive, which is not the way we need to be living. We should be thriving. Money should come effortless and easily, not with overload and overwork. Some of us work so much, we're in our masculine energy all the friggin' time. And then we wonder why our feminine energy, because we all have feminine, masculine energy, is so distorted. Is so distorted that we can't receive, we have trouble accepting, we can't feel to tap back in and sift through these behavior patterns or this imbalance we have in the mind, body, and spirit. We can't do it because we're so out of balance. We're all the way over here. And some of us are even caretaking. Some of us are in healthcare and we're also caretaking. So, my thing to you is again, another question for your list. Where is your inner war? And maybe you can feel that and feel into it right now in the body and looking at all of this energy that's present with you or that's maybe you're sifting through right now. I mean, we've got a crisis, right? We all know this. And again, no judgment, but the reality is these people are taking care of us in the hospitals. You all are taking care of us, but are you taking care of yourself? We have a society that has never been more overweight, more health products than ever on the market, and yet the fattest and sickest country in the world, right? People standing outside hospital, workers smoking, overweight, drinking Red Bull. I'm not saying everybody, but I know I've had a lot of nurses going on cigarette breaks. Many who would go to the gym 2 hours in the morning and some not, or some eating a Twinkie and having 3 cups of coffee. So you tell me now that nurse is overworked, overburdened, understaffed in surge centers, in hospitals. Mental health therapists are burnt the frig out and their easy way out. And I'm going to say it's some psychiatry as well. And bless you all because you are holding the fort down for everybody in the mental health regime. But what are you guys doing for support? What are you guys doing for health and wellness? Are you doing your work? Do you have, do you get Reiki sessions? Do you get energy clearings? Because I'm going to tell you something, and this is for everybody, whether you're going to a place of work or not, meaning you don't work from home, right? There is so much energy moving around, and I know because I can see the energy. That's another one of my gifts. I can see all energy. I can see attachments, um, emotion, things stuck to you if you're having pain. And this is spiritual. This is not, I don't claim to be a doctor. I don't claim to be right, anything other than I am. And I believe in holistic therapies, right? You guys would have to find that out for yourself. But if things are not working now, you showed up today, that's an indication like you got to shift. Something needs to change. And the physical body, right? If you're out of balance, you might have pain through the body, continuous headache, stress, tension. Your legs are stiff, they're hurting. Your energy's off, you're crying a lot. You feel depressed. You get very moody. You somehow get raked in at work to keep working, trading time for money and less time with the kids or your family, or less time for you, right? So it's really looking at like, where are you right now? What is happening for you in your life? Where have you been stacking or suppressing emotion? and just sit with that. Because the outer war is not going away, guys. This outer war, something resonated with you, right? And that's why you showed up. It's not going anywhere. Humanity has to shift. We have to shift and go from surviving to thriving. We have to shift and go from dysregulation to regulating emotions. And I'm not saying go to your therapist every week and talk about your asshole ex-husband, ex-wife, excuse the expression, or ex-partner. And I apologize if that triggered some of you, but it's true because you can keep talking the same story. My whole purpose today is to shed light on this awakening on the planet and that there are other modalities, there's other ways to eradicate your inner war, dissolve, disintegrate. But we've got to go through it. We've got to look at what's there, why this inner war is there in the first place. Why did it show up? Why are you at a crossroad in your life? Why are you having anxiety? Why are you having panic attacks? Like, what is happening in your life? What have you ignored? What have you, maybe you've overextended yourself on so many levels with your jobs. You've overextended with family when you really didn't want to go see family, you went anyway, and you self-sacrificed, right? But to really look at dissolve this war within us and every human being, because being bitter and angry and not thriving in your life, we are not exercising our full power as human beings. We should be thriving, having abundance, money, family, friends. We should never have to look at how much, mescaline greens or yogurt and fruit and veggies, how much they cost. We should never have to do that. The thing is, we're doing it because we're strapped, we're scared, we're in fear, we're in lack, we're in scarcity. And then we trade time for money and we lose time with our children. And I get it, guys. I get it. I was there until I decided I was done, until I decided I was so in balance that I was no longer going to sell my soul and stay in soul sickness. And some of you are sitting in soul sickness. Your soul essence is sick. And I know you guys know what I'm talking about. Some of you don't feed your soul what it needs. You don't have enough laughter. Everything is serious. Everything is politics. Everybody's getting written up. There's something happening here, there, everywhere. And I'm not saying to quit your job tomorrow because you guys are needed. I'm saying start to look beyond what's happening to you. Start to look at yourself as a whole person, well-being for your own well-being. Start to look at, do you have all you need? Or where can you start to eradicate your inner war? Because some of you, some of us, because I'm right there with you guys, I do my work as well, are not doing our inner work. Some of us are not doing our inner deep work. We're not doing shadow work. We don't have a coach. We're not hitting goals. And I'm not talking work goals. How about spiritual goals? How about going to a retreat to fill up? How about taking, and I'm not saying fly to California and spend $5,000. No, I'm talking go to a retreat, New Jersey, North Carolina. If you guys are on the East Coast, stay on the East Coast. If you're in California, stay on the West, whatever. You don't have to spend an exuberant amount of money. And do some self-reflecting. Do some workshops that are going to help and kick your ass a little bit to start to become aware and awakened about what's really happening right now. We are being asked in humanity to ascend, to evolve, to grow, eradicate this battle within ourselves of hatred versus joy. Fear versus love. Imagine what the world would look like if we didn't have fear. And I'm not saying fear is bad, because fear is absolutely good as well. And anyway, fear and excitement are the same emotion, same feeling. They're both the same feeling, different emotion. Different emotion, same feeling. Think about it. So we get to choose. We get to choose to go sit down with ourselves when we're off. We get to choose to go meditate. We get to choose if we're feeling really anxious, rightfully so, just going through a big life change, divorce, change of jobs, bought a home. Your best friend moved across the country. Maybe you lost 3 friends. Maybe you lost all your friends. Maybe you don't have any friends as you moved. Maybe you took another job in another city, moved to another town. Whatever change you're going through, these emotions are coming up for a reason. And they're coming up for a reason to be looked at. They're coming up for a reason because God is saying to you, or your spirit, your higher self, universe, however you want to call it, wake up. It's time we start to deal with this. Because the thing is, guys, what you're not dealing with, and yes, bringing harmony and balance, doing some energy work, but what you're not dealing with is now dealing with you and has brought you to be in this state of out of balance, no clarity, maybe even experiencing vertigo, whatever you're experiencing, but it's dysregulation. All right, so I'm going to give you guys, I've talked a lot, and I see some of your faces and everybody's expression. I'm going to give you guys a minute or two. It's 4:57. Let's grab some water and come right back. We're going to go into a meditation right now. We're going to tap in and let's see what happens. And we'll be back for another session at another time. So I'll give you a second. I'm just going to also take a sip of water. Let's give you guys another minute. If you need a bathroom break, you can do that as well. And for those of you who are still here with me, just make sure you have some paper and a pen, because we'll jot some stuff down when we're done, but we're going to go right into this peaceful place where we're going to hear our inner war and what it has to say. Get you guys moving with the imbalance, right? So we can bring you back into balance and bring you back into a state of higher consciousness, awareness, and self-reflectatory, right? So maybe next time when you are burnt out or overloaded, or you have this inner battle going on, that you take time for you, that you don't wait until you get sick, right? Because oftentimes, I know I used to do that. Like I'd take time off when I got sick. Well, yeah, of course I got sick because I wasn't taking the time to let the energy come up and be felt. I was so emotionally dysregulated, and I thought I had to be happy all the time. And that's what I call spiritually bypassing your emotions and pretending to be right, to be somebody that you're not, inauthentic, basically, right? Wearing several masks, like some of us have to. We're very programmed, guys. We wear so many masks to be a certain someone at a certain time, in a certain place. All right. So we're ready. So just settle in your sit bones. And again, I want to thank every one of you who are still here with me. I appreciate you and I see you and I hear you. And I want to thank you for all the work you do out in community. I know it's not always easy. I know there's tough days and some days are even tougher. There's days you probably don't even want to go back to the office, or some of you are ready for vacation. So hopefully this will reset all of us. Let's see where it goes. So just settle in where you're sitting. Just keep your back straight up, hands on your lap, closing your eyes, taking a deep breath in, breathing out, taking another breath in, and breathing out. I just want to say thank you for being here. And just find your normal cadence of breath as we allow this energy to just be present with us here. We've unpacked a lot today, and we've had an epic workshop. And as you all start to settle in, find your normal breathing cadence. We're going to go on a little journey together in relaxing state. We're going to start to calm the nervous system and regulate our emotions and dip into the real reason why we came here today. As we open up to the frequencies now, we're just going to call in some energy in this space so I can anchor in some beautiful energy. I work with the angels and a lot of the energy through the life force of Reiki. So as you continue to breathe, I'm going to call in the angels and guides and guardians to surround us all, to bring some beautiful energy of light around each and every one of you, and some healing frequencies. Archangel Raphael, Michael and Camuel, Ariel and Daniel, Raziel and Raguel. We're going to bring in the vial of fire, the flame of purification. And as you continue to find your breath and your cadence, I want every single one of you to see me holding a match in front of you that's in violet in color. And as I light this match, this flame ignites to the match, which is very bright orange and red. And as this flame stays lit in front of you, and you continue taking your breaths, the color of this flame starts to morph into violet in color. And the violet flame starts to grow in size and come closer to you. Come closer to your chest. Come closer in the chest. It starts to protrude. It protrudes out a little bit. And as you take this next inhale, I want you to inhale the flame. Inhale as if the flame is coming into you. All the way in. all the way down and all the way out. Take another breath in, inhaling the violet flame, moving it through the cavity, moving it through the inner lining, and exhale out. One more time, inhaling that flame that's lit right in front of you, and exhaling out. And as your nervous system starts to relax, starts to dim down, calm down, I want you to see this violet flame flaming in the chest, in your chest, just sitting in this heart space, this violet flame burning in your heart space, this violet flame opening up and expanding. And just transmuting any energy that is blocked into the heart chest cavity, moving the energy around, transmuting any cords or ties to any people, places, or programs, any clients, any patients, anybody at work, up until right this moment, right now. We give permission to the violet flame to move through the chest and the heart. And keep breathing. If you find yourself in your head, just come back to the breath. As you move that fire through the chest, allow that flame to keep transmuting. The flame will continue to move through the chest area on its own. And I ask the violet flame to move 33 octaves through the cavity, transmuting any energy known or unknown for your benefit, for your balance. And as you continue to breathe, I want you to see yourself standing over a balcony. This balcony is white, creamy white in color. And the stairs to the side of it go on to a sandy beach. As we walk around the balcony, down the stairs, there's about 10 steps. I want you to walk with me. 10, 9, 8, 7. We're almost there. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Walk down on the sand and around, and there's a house. There's a house with a porch. I want you to go sit on the porch, on the swing, on the porch. And it's such a lovely day. The sun is almost setting, but it's so bright, warm. As you look up, you're finding yourself just even more calmer, even more relaxed. You are so happy to be here. You feel so relaxed right now. not thinking about anything, because you know you're right where you're supposed to be. Everything is happening exactly the way it's supposed to. And as the sun starts to descend, and just watching it on this veranda, the sun captivates you and just moves into your chest. It's like it came so close and just went boop. It's like you have this big ball of light, this big ball of sunlight, which holds so many frequencies of energy. Not just vitamin D, but it holds a consciousness, holds a higher consciousness of light. And as it starts to move into you, it starts to form and infuse your body with golden light, filling you up, moving up to your throat, expanding to your nose and eyes and head, moving its way down to your belly, to your Shakti, which is your mid stomach area, and your root, which is your groin and hips. Moving all the way down your legs and your knees, your link chakras, all the way down to your feet, opening and expanding down into the ground, all the way around you, encapsulating you in a golden cosmic egg. Just sitting in this beautiful golden energy, feeling safe and feeling held as the golden light just moves through your crown chakra, your eyes and nose, your mouth, your ears, your throat, filling any area in your body where you need light, any area where emotions have been transmuted, energy has been transmuted, pockets have been opened and released. Just allowing what's here, allowing what's present. I want you to go a little deeper as the energies hold the frequency for you. Putting your hands on your heart, taking a breath into the heart, holding for 3 counts. 3, 2, 1, and expelling. Taking another inhale, 3 counts. 3, 2, 1, and letting go. And one more time, taking an inhale in. On the count of 3, exhaling. 3, 2, 1. And as your hands are on your heart, I want you to ask yourself, what is my inner war? What is my inner war? Where is the war in me now? And really sitting with that. And just keep taking breaths while you're in this space. Whatever's coming forward, let it come. And if you get a pain in the body, just put your hands there. Or a sensation, just put your hands there. Where is the inner war in me? What have I not wanted to face? And maybe have enjoyed talking the story, or maybe have enjoyed numbing. Where is that inner war in me? I am ready to listen. And allow this higher self version of you, this higher self that carries so much wisdom, to just do his or her work and bring to you whatever that is. Allowing whatever's present to come into your awareness. And you can come out of this at any time if you're uncomfortable. But just allowing, just allowing. And you can ask, how long have you been here? How long has this inner war been here inside of me? And why it's here? Like, why are you making a big deal now? Because this part of you, right, that is having this inner war is you. This is a part of you that you've pushed away, cut off, shoved under the rug. It's still part of you and needs to be loved. It needs to be spoken to, right? Not ignored, not pushed away, not, I'll deal with you later. Yes, it needs to be nourished. It needs to be spoken to as if it's your child or a good friend that's sitting next to you, right? So after it continues to share, and we'll give you a minute or two. As you finish up your conversation, which is always so valuable. You can ask any other questions you might have. Some of you may even have this part of you want to spend more time with you. And we can talk a little bit about what that looks like, guys. But for right now, just embrace what's happening. Embrace the energy that is surrounding you in this space. And as we continue to listen, And as you continue to find your breath, you tell this part of you, this inner war, that you'll be back to talk to it and that you're ready. You're ready to listen and that you're sorry you haven't listened until now. And maybe you were too scared, or maybe you didn't have time, whatever the case may be. It's okay. So just say goodbye for now. And I want you to come back into your physical body, coming back around as you listen to my voice, still breathing and hands on your heart, still connecting with your most beautiful sacred self, still loving yourself wherever you are. Just taking a breath in and an exhale out, wiggling your toes, wiggling your hands, coming back into your physical body, feeling filled up and nurtured, feeling rejuvenated and rebalanced, feeling clear, having clarity, feeling really on point of the message you just got. Whatever that is, whatever came up for you, which is unique to each individual, right? Depending on where you are in your journey, it's all perfect. There's no right or wrong. There's no duality. It's all perfect. So coming back to the present moment, giving thanks for your experience that you just had, thanking the angels and guardians and your higher selves, thanking God for all that you have in your life right now in this very moment, and that we've connected with Source today, something more powerful than any of us, right? Well, I hope everybody had a wonderful experience. And if you are interested in doing some work with this, and if you're interested in exploring, if you're ready to start eradicating your inner war and do shadow work, start getting to the root of the trauma or the wounds or this dysregulation of emotions that you've been struggling with. And I could see some of you had so much emotion come up, right? And some of you may be feeling angry or rageful or confused or scared or, oh my God, I still have that. I can remember the first time I had my journey. I had this inner war that this younger girl in me, she didn't even want to talk. There was an inner war of anger and hatred. So deep. So deep that, right? I worked with it. I continue to work with it, but it's also in my ancestor lineage. Like I carried that through in my DNA, in my genetic blueprint, like all of you, like we all do. We don't think of these things, right? Nobody's teaching us go self-regulate and make sure you, emote, feel your feelings. Oh, you're dysregulated, go take a break. We don't talk like this. But I know a lot of you here today and anybody watching me, you have a spark that's been ignited in you. You have something that has set fire today within your soul. And you know what? There's never been a better time than now. So if you feel called, if you feel drawn or magnetized to find out more information, what is shadow work? Why would I be doing it? What kind of practitioner would I need? What does that look like? Call me. Don't sit at the sidelines and keep complaining about this life we're living, complaining about this outer world. Start eradicating the inner world. Find your own peace and co-create the life that you're meant to be living in harmony and balance with nature. Thank you guys. It has been absolutely a pleasure and honor to be with you here today. And since nobody has any questions, I've dropped my link in the caption in the chat. If you need to get in touch with me, you can find me at www.theintegrativeconsciousvibe.com. You can also reach me at 973-255-8626. If you want to hop on a call because you have questions, I would love to talk to you, even just to share your experience with me and say, hey, listen, Joanne, this is what I experienced, or I always have known I've had to eradicate this war, this inner duality. Like one part of me is like this and another part of me is like this. Let's have a chat. Let's have a chat about what you've been doing with yourself. Let's have a chat with, are you ready to do the work? Do you want to jump in and start doing shadow work and really be part of maybe a container or do one-to-one or have energy tune-ups once a month? I don't know. But I'm going to tell you now, guys, you won't regret even a minute of the work because I am living my life, my thriving life in a way that I never thought I'd be living. I am no longer suffering. I have tools in my tool belt. I have a spiritual mentor. I get my own tune-ups once a month, and I have seen some pretty amazing miracles in my life on a whole nother spectrum, right? Because the only way we're going to eradicate what's happening out there is if we as humans start to do the deeper work. And it's never anybody outside of us. You know who it is? The man in the mirror. You and me. I love you. God bless. Have an amazing rest of your day. And without further ado, I'm heading out and before I get out for some fresh air, I hope you're doing something good for yourself. Take care. See you soon.